Hey guys, we're gonna watch another little video. Should you play Old School Runescape in 2026? Honest answer. This is by a YouTuber, TheYorkshirePudding, and like before, he does pump out quite a bit of RuneScape content. So if you want to give his channel a look and a sus, feel free to do so. I'll probably put his link in the description, as I do with anyone who I react with. You always got to give them respect.
Old School Runescape.
But yeah, anyway, let's have a sus. I've never seen this. I haven't watched it before, so you're going to really just see what I see.
Is arguably in the strongest position it's ever been in, with record player counts last year and some very promising updates revealed at this year's Winter Summit.
It is
but despite all of that, Old School RuneScape still isn't for everyone.
Wow,
we saw a huge wave of World of Warcraft players try the game last year, and while some stayed,
I didn't know he was going to show well.
WoW. Although RuneScape is an MMORPG, it plays nothing like most modern MMOs. Games like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy are theme parks, fast, guided, and built around temporary progression. RuneScape.
Yeah, I think the issue with World of Warcraft at the moment is that if you play retail, it is overwhelming. And people who play Old School RuneScape like the idea of classic feel. That's why people like playing classic World of Warcraft, which doesn't have as much of that overwhelming aspect to it. You know, it's not as guided, but again, you can get add-ons that make it fairly easy, and quest helpers and arrows to point you in the right direction. So, I mean, it's not overtly difficult.
Is a sandbox, slow, open-ended, and built around permanent progression. And if you come into Old School RuneScape expecting it to follow the same formula, you're probably going to hate it. In this video, I'm going to explain why RuneScape is different to other MMOs, and why these differences might be the exact reason you should play Old School RuneScape. Let's start with the reasons you shouldn't play RuneScape. Old School's combat on the surface is very simple. You click on an enemy and wait for your character to kill it. There's no ability spamming or class rotations to cycle
that easy.
through. And for many, this apparent lack of action is enough for many to say, it's just not for me, this game. Stick around with Old School RuneScape, however, and you'll realise there's a lot more to combat than just click and wait, even if it initially appears this way. Gear and inventory preparation and setup, precise clicks of supplies, overhead prayers and movement, and understanding of the tick system where every action in game occurs in prayers and movement, and understanding of the tick system where every action in game occurs in 0.6 second intervals, all serve to give this seemingly simple combat system a deeper level of complexity.
I'm not even up to this yet, by the way.
Through the game you progress when you start doing high level content.
Oh,
some of the end game challenges are
5K.
genuinely really difficult, such as the Inferno or Colosseum. To put it into perspective, for anyone who's played Dark Souls before, although they're completely different games, the difficulty of the Inferno and Colosseum is, in my opinion, significantly harder than completing a run through in one of the Souls games, despite them having a reputation.
And yet Dark Souls is on my next kind of playthrough.
If you prefer to learn rotations and click on abilities, Old School RuneScape isn't for you. But if you stick around with the game, this simple combat system is easy to get into, yet has an unexpectedly high skill ceiling, which offers a range of challenges, particularly at the end game. Speaking of end game, if end game content is your thing and you hate leveling, this game may not be for you. In retail World of Warcraft, you can easily level a character up from level 1 to...
This is so true. Like in WoW, you can get 1 to 60. Oh, in WoW Classic, getting to 60 is probably going to take you months. Like in like the actual Classic. If you play WoW retail, you get it in. If you're playing RuneScape, you're looking at game time day, like game time days. So like over 1,000+ hours to start itching on the idea of endgame.
Max in less than a week. But to max Old School RuneScape, this could easily take you a decade or more. Many people watching this video right now will have played RuneScape for over a decade. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that most still haven't maxed yet. In fact, to give new players some perspective, why don't you put how long you've played the game followed by your total level down in the comments below. To provide context, the max total level you can reach is 2,376, with there being 24 different skills, each having a max level of 99. So in RuneScape, the end game is not the only thing that matters. Most of the game is literally leveling. It's a super grindy game, and even getting to the end game can take months, and for many, years to reach. But this doesn't mean that the end game isn't worth playing just because a large emphasis is on leveling and progressing your character. I've spoken previously about the challenging encounters in combat you get at the end game, but you also get to work on collection logs, completing all the quests and achievements, unlocking all the music tracks, and there's even achievements specific to combat. You'll be making progress towards all of these during your many years of leveling, and once maxed you'll most likely still have many different goals to achieve that you've set yourself, meaning both the leveling process and the end game are both just as rewarding. As someone who's played a lot of World of Warcraft, I often find leveling characters one of the more enjoyable parts of the game, whether it's classic or retail, and that is despite all the flaws retail has with its leveling system. So for me, RuneScape is great because the whole game is one big leveling experience. Another reason you might not want to play Old School RuneScape is the graphics. I mean, this game is really hard to sell to people if you think about it. I reckon most people started playing RuneScape because they knew someone who played it.
It's intentional graphics, right? So yeah, it was created a while ago on an old engine, and they've updated it on a new engine.
Do you want to play this MMORPG which doesn't have
but like now it's just intentionally polygon. It's not even bad graphics.
abilities, you just point and click. It's insanely grindy and will take you years and years to max. Oh, and by the way, these graphics look like they're from 2007. You'd probably laugh and play literally any other game on the market instead, but these graphics are actually an intentional stylistic choice. If you look at RuneScape 3, Jagex clearly has the ability to modernise the graphics, but they've chosen not to because that's not what the player base want. And many old school RuneScape players genuinely prefer the graphics of old school, and it's not just due to nostalgia. But if you still think it's a bit of an eyesore, then there are options to improve the graphics while still maintaining the iconic RuneScape style. The GPU or 117HD plugins on RuneLite allow you to customize the graphics if you don't necessarily like the graphics from 2007. RuneLite is a Jagex approved third-party client which has various add-ons for the game you can use. If you play RuneScape and have RuneLite and want to improve your graphics, I'll make a link in the description where
yeah, like the HD setting is good. You can change like seasons, and you can change lighting effects and dimming and shadows, etc. Sometimes if I'm just in a mood where I just want really high FPS, I just change it to the GPU setting in RuneLite, and it goes to really basic graphic settings, but oh, it is smooth.
Through my exact graphical settings for you to copy. It's a very short video, it'll only take a few minutes to improve your graphics. So although the graphics are not for everyone, there are options to change them, and the graphics are one of the many reasons that make RuneScape stand out from other games.
He's done this on Blender. He is
so if you dislike point and click gameplay, hate long grinds, and despise the RuneScape style graphics, then this game may honestly not be for you. But as someone who's played World of Warcraft during every expansion since Cataclysm, and someone who has played RuneScape since was in primary school, I can without a shadow of a doubt say that RuneScape is my favourite game of all time. I quit World of Warcraft pretty much every expansion as soon as the novelty wears off. Yet when it comes to RuneScape, I can play almost every day. And that's every new expansion, what happens?
Whatever you earned is not significant anymore. It is not worth it. It is not biz, so therefore throw it away.
Single level in a skill, I'm looking at you, Runecrafting, can give you a greater sense of achievement and progression than it does when you level a character from 1 to max in another game within the same amount of time. And that's for two reasons. Number one, the grind is one of the reasons going back to the character screens. If anyone could max Runecrafting from 1 to 99 within a few days, then nobody would care. But the main reason is this. Let's say you get 95 Runecrafting and decide to take a break. Even if your break was 2 years long and you return to RuneScape in 2028, your level 95 Runecrafting is still going to be level 95 Runecrafting. The max level won't have changed, your stats won't have been reset or altered, and with Jagex's design philosophy, it's very unlikely that there'll be new content that devalues the achievement of reaching 95 Runecrafting. Don't get me wrong,
that's what you don't want,
and it may even be for Runecrafting,
the achievements
but have a way of balancing such
you
content
get in any expansion
making previous content irrelevant.
to not feel like it's not worth it.
Provides more experience per hour, the chances are it's more difficult, is more click intensive, or is expensive to train, or all of the above. If they create a new AFK training method, then the XP per hour is going to be really poor. If the method is profitable, again, the experience might not be great, but you can make money whilst making some
I like
sort
these
of
animations.
progress.
These are
When
sick. By the way,
comparing this
I've
to World
tried
of
to
Warcraft,
use
if you
Blender
take a
recently.
break
It's
for
not
2
easy.
years, the next expansion will be out. The gear you worked so hard for doing the hardest content in the game can now easily be replaced by doing some of the basic fetch quests in the new areas. You're no longer max level, and the combat rotation you learned has now changed with half of your abilities missing, being replaced with others that do different things. And you realise that had you waited for the next expansion to be released, you wouldn't have had to grind for all that gear in the first place. But the next expansion is out, and then you ask yourself the same thing again.
I mean, even recently on WoW Classic, when it was like the new re-release WoW Classic going to TBC, which is on now, like the anniversary realms, even I remember when it was released, it was so good. And you would do, some of the raids, you would get all these nice kind of gear slots and progressions. And then as soon as TBC came out, boom, like that was all not worth it. Like it was just probably worth thinking, well, what's the point if I'm going to grind all this and then a new expansion makes it insignificant? It takes away the purpose. So, and a lot of us, we don't have a lot of time to game right now. Everyone's busy. Everyone's working long hours. We want something that feels worth it in a long run that you can chip away at. And that's what RuneScape does for people.
Again, what's the point in doing this? Yet another expansion will just come out, or even a patch within the next few months, and the same will happen again. You only have to ask yourself this a few times before coming to the conclusion, what's the point in doing it at all? Temporary progression in an MMORPG shouldn't be in the same sentence, considering that the progression of your character over time is one of the biggest draws of the genre. You do not get this issue with RuneScape, and that's why you can spend weeks, months, or even years playing the game, knowing that everything you've worked so hard to get and achieve is still relevant and holds its value. Another reason you should play Old School RuneScape in 2026 is that it isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Last year it reached its highest player count ever, which is a great sign that the game is healthy and moving in the right direction. Then again, a couple of months ago Ashes of Creation also technically reached its high player count ever. What? Too soon? Old School RuneScape doesn't have hundreds of different updates every year, but that's because they focus on quality over quantity, and it even pulls the vast majority of content to the player base before being released to the game. If at least 70% of players want an update, it'll go through. This means it's extremely unlikely that awful and or anti-player updates will enter the game, as it has to be approved by the players first. In World of Warcraft,
Again,
they've introduced
this guy has done a lot of editing on the video. Shout out.
I've not personally played since they were released. Apparently they are really good, but guess who's made it so you can buy certain house upgrades with real life money? A core gameplay feature that many were excited for is now pay to win. This wouldn't happen in RuneScape unless there was a serious change in tone by the developers. Not only did they not want to include microtransactions in Old School RuneScape, as they're very protective over that, bonds being the exception of course, but they'd have to poll it first, in which the players would obviously refuse. Another sign of goodwill is the unmicrotransactification of RuneScape 3. I think I just made that word up. I was going to say that I don't want to sound like
I don't know much about RuneScape 3. I haven't even sussed it.
Thoughts, no, I am, because we should give credit to companies that make pro.
I know they did have an issue with like monetization.
Future updates in Old School RuneScape. They're expanding on the recent sales.
I think it's better.
They're introducing a new endgame raid.
I love that tag. 92 better, half of 99.
More temporary game modes like leagues, which are always a ton of fun with increased experience rates, powerful ability unlocks, and great quality of life improvements just for the purpose of that game mode. Yes, I said temporary progression is not good in an MMO, but these are optional, short-lived experiences that allow you to take a break from the main game and have a little fun once in a while. Another reason to play RuneScape is that it's less bloated. It's entirely possible to know every single item in the game and what each item does with enough experience. There's also no transmogs. What this means is that if you see a character
yes, I think that's true, but still, like I've been playing for a while now, and I'm an Iron Man, so my progression's really slow, but I still don't know half of the items, half of the weapons, half of the best in slots. Like, I think there is a lot that people don't know. Like even when I was doing Blast Furnace, I had a comment from someone saying, "Oh, you can get these gloves that make it more profitable, and you can also wear these gloves that allow you to pick up hot molten bars." And I'm like thinking, "What the fuck?" Like I didn't even know these things.
decent but not max damage. They pull out the dragon claws, and now you know that a high damage special attack from this specific weapon is likely to follow. This is easy to gloss over as being not important, but this information gathering is completely lost in other games where transmogs mean that the gear that a player is wearing does not necessarily reflect the power the player has. And number 2, the infernal cape he's wearing shows that he's completed one of the most difficult combat encounters in the entire game. The game is not bloated with items, reskins, or even items using
for this
the same
boss specifically, there's like a practice you can
I'm going to show
search
you a few
on,
items on screen
like
now
Google.
Old School
It's like a web
RuneScape.
page.
Most players will be able to name these and even tell you what they're used for, its approximate value, and even how to obtain them. I'll do the same for World of Warcraft. Not only have there several reskins or copy and pasted appearances which, despite identical looks, have differing stats and even names, but there's way too many in the game. The items don't have the same iconic feel as they do in RuneScape.
No, they don't.
This part is very difficult to put into words, but anyone who's played both will know what I mean, and I think it's the small things like this which help RuneScape stand out from the rest. On a separate note, RuneScape has a large diversity of content, ranging from the 24 different skills, quest list and achievement diaries, mini-games and bosses. And the best thing about these are that they're all interconnected. To do a certain quest, you need to first complete several other quests and have a minimum skilling requirements. Some of these quests themselves have their own requirements as well. Then when you finally do the quest, you may unlock certain
these animations are elite,
which can help in PvM content. But certain bosses are made easier by completing the achievement.
I'm probably aware he hasn't made them, but
the giant mole and the Falador,
again, just starting out in Blender and getting certain positions and poses is hard enough, and just setting up the lighting so it's right in front of the character. You have shadow on half the face and light on the other half of the face. Like, that took me hours to do. Like, imagine what this would be.
Like construction or prayer. Then with prayer, you can now use this skill to improve your abilities in combat, and with construction, you can build your own house and create several quality of life features. It means that everything you do in the game is not only helping you get better at that activity, but also likely progressing your character in other indirect ways too. Naturally, this interconnectivity leads to goal setting where players create their own to-do lists, meaning that you'll always have something to do no matter what stage you're at the game. And finally, another reason to play RuneScape is the community. Every community has its bandits, but as a whole, I'd say the RuneScape community is pretty decent and has matured significantly over the years compared to when most of us started back in the day. Many players will be happy to help you, and if you knew, it may be better to find a clan, as in theory, they'll be less likely to lure you. Yes, lures and scams do happen, so be careful trusting just anyone, but most players will offer you help and guidance if you're stuck with something. So should you play Old School RuneScape in 2026? The game is not for everyone, but if you've never played it before, I'd certainly give it a try because you may be pleasantly surprised. If you've played RuneScape before and like it, then there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be playing it now in 2026, as the game is stronger than ever and the future looks promising. And if you've never played it before, then hopefully the promise of permanent progression, the diverse range of interconnect.
Yeah, look, I think that was a good video. I think he touched on a really solid points regarding progression styles and the difference between different MMO RPGs. I think another thing to be aware of is that I agree, like, the community is amazing. If you make a main, just be wary that, you know, if a main wants to give you something because they love the game and they want you to enjoy it and they want to give you all the money and all the stuff, like, try not to do that, because part of the game is the grind. Like, it's intentionally not trying to be dicky, but it's trying to say, well, yeah, well, this game is long term. We're not here, you know, to play around for a week or two and then you can go off and play another game. Like, you're doing a week of two potentially on 1 to 2 quests and just leveling up a couple levels in a certain skill. Like, it's a long-term game. Like, when I got a 99 fishing, I was there. It's a total of probably like 500 hours, just same area, same fish, mindlessly clicking on the iPad while watching movie after movie. Like, it's great for AFK, it's great for being present, but wow, it will take up a lot of time, you know. And again, you want it to make it worth it. You don't want it to go into a new season and for that all to just go to shit. So anyway, yeah, hopefully we can watch a few more of these. Shout out to the Yorkshire Pudding. I'll put his link channel in the description so you guys can suss a bit more of his videos. Again, I think he does quite a few videos and he puts a lot of effort into the editing. So, all right, guys, hope you have a good one and we'll see you soon.